I'll do it again.
Bernie, thank you very much for stepping up. I appreciate it. Good. So we got that. Second thing I do, Sue sent out the last meetings from February 14th. Did everyone get a chance to read those? And if so, any changes? Motion to accept? Okay, so we'll move past that. Now we're on to visitors and communications. I don't know you, but can you please introduce yourself?
I'm Tracy Lewis, the Executive Director of the Barre Partnership.
Excellent. Well, we appreciate you coming today. I'd like to talk about the facility, starting with the crash show, how you felt that went, anything that the facility can do better to support you for that, and where you see things going in the future. I'll let you.
Okay. So let me just bring up my budget for it. So as you know, I took it on in 2023, with just a few months notice, and I think the first year we had 79 vendors, and it went great, and so there was a lot of excitement to bring it back last year. So in 2023, I was supposed to have 119 vendors. A couple didn't show, so Jeff was at like 111.
He was way up there on that one.
111, 113, something like that. It was a little crowded, so I've worked with Jeff and his guys with measurements, and Nick from the city, and made a brand new floor plan with different size booths. When I took it over, I basically took over and did everything that the Crafters Guild had done. The old crafters had sent me their craft fair vendor applications, their forms, their floor plan, and I basically went with it because I wasn't going to reinvent the wheel. Now 2 years in, there is some things that I can adjust. So when I started, it was 3 different booth sizes: 8x8, 10x8, and 10x10. I have this year for 2024, we're not going to have the 10x8s. It just makes the floor plan insane. So I created a new floor plan that kind of goes with what Nick has said for the amount of space that we need in floors, because when you come in, everybody goes to the very first row, and it's crazy busy. So we're making more space for that, and that, let me just see where it is, sorry. So, let's see this, but the blue are 10x10s, and then we've got 3 rows in the middle of 8x8s. We are allowing 2 10x8s right here, up on the bleachers, just because that's what fits in that area. And then downstairs, one less row. So I might lose a couple spots for vendors, but I'm not really worried about that. You know, a couple weren't coming back this year because of age and, you know, moving or whatever. So I worked with Nick, and we made some changes to the application. I've streamlined it. There's an online application this year. I think I've got about between 40 and 60 applications already for 2024. Vendors are excited. So I think we're good. What I am going to do this year is, I believe on Wednesday of the week that we do it, we're gonna come down, and a vendor or 2 or a volunteer or 2 are gonna come, and we're gonna take lines down just to make sure that vendors stay in their spots.
How many booths up and how many down?
Right now there's 67 in the main floor and 2 in the lobby, so 69 upstairs and about 57 in the downstairs.
What's the attendance been? Has it been good?
Crazy busy.
Really?
Yeah.
The numbers compared, do you have any comparisons like pre-COVID, like the craft COVID?
The vendors that I've talked to, have said that this is their best craft fair of the year, hands down. And last year was their best craft fair that they had made money at. So, they compared it to Essex, and Essex fees are twice as much as ours, and they make more at our fair,
When you say crazy busy, what, can you give me any close to a number?
over 5,000.
So you don't charge it in admission, obviously?
No,
You
no.
can't track your numbers or somehow?
No, but this year I am going to send a, survey, I send surveys out to the vendors, but I'm going to request, sales to see what I can see, because I just started doing it with my farmers markets, and I've had 2 winter farmers markets, over at the old labor hall, and you know, there's a handful of people that come in, not a lot, and so I'm wondering how beneficial it is for these vendors, and they're making $200 to $300 in 3 hours per vendor. So I can only imagine what our vendors are making, so I'm gonna request that information this year.
So partnership, you make enough money to pay the fee, but also, I assume, hopefully, it's part of the partnership.
Yeah, so, our budget last year. I think our auditorium,
You should have a dinger on it, so you know.
That's right.
so I believe the bill for the auditorium was in the 9,000s.
Yeah, right around there, yeah, actually 99.
9,900, and, the amount of income that we collected was 29,000. And then with, you know, I make paper flyers, I do advertising in the newspapers, I did some on the TV and on the radios. So we roughly walk away with 12 to 13,000 after everything.
Wow.
So
And do any craft fairs ever charge admission or?
they didn't charge, the Crafters Guild never charged. So we're just charging like the vendors, you know, vendors.
Gun shows, you're going to gun shows. You talk about the same $100.
Just to get in.
So 2 years ago, Tracy, when she had the first one, a lot of, I came up that Saturday, and it was almost the same as the gun show Saturday. The doors open, the place was packed. And I guess it was, yeah, you told me, we talked to some vendors who said, over the years, you know, people that had come through the Crafters Guild before, and they said that was the best Saturday they've ever had. They've never had a Saturday that busy.
And that was that was the first one after COVID. I've got some pictures that Shannon has taken. Just gonna look for it for a second.
You will? Craft it.
Just well timed.
So this is the Saturday, of 2022.
Great time.
And this is probably, Shannon usually shows up around 11, 12, and when we open the doors at 9, it's just, it's crazy, so, but it was pretty steady, like this much traffic all day Saturday. Sunday has, less traffic, but it's steady traffic. One thing I am gonna do this year is, the hours have been 9 to 5 on Saturday and 9 to 4 on Sunday. We're gonna do 9 to 3 both days. It gets quiet after 3 both days, so I'm just gonna cut it.
And you told me there was a couple vendors that ran out of stuff on Saturday. Had to go home Saturday night and either make or grab more stuff to bring back or something.
Yeah,
How's the, do you have all the same vendors? Do you have new vendors from your previous shows? Or,
so in 2022, we had 79 vendors, every one of those came back for 2023, and then we added up to 113.
Yeah.
And then this year, I've only opened it up to last year's vendors so far, because I am losing a couple spots because of the new layout. So once I get past all of the vendors, I'll give them until June 1st to sign up, and then I'll open it up so that we're a full
so
show.
you don't see any issues with filling in with vendors?
Not at all.
What do you do for concessions?
So last year, Taste VT, which is a new business in Barre, she does charcuterie boards. She did, concessions down in the basement, and they did walking tacos, they had breakfast, like, cupcakes and, not cupcakes,
Muffins?
cinnamon rolls, muffins, coffee, and then they had the walking tacos for lunch, so she's already excited and
All the food's downstairs.
all this food's downstairs. One of the things that the vendors had said is it would be nice for someone to come around, which she actually did. She had two people coming around upstairs offering to-go boxes for the vendors. I think one thing, I need more signage. A lot of people seem to don't know that there's vendors downstairs or there's food downstairs. So I'm working on more signage, even though I had them on all doors.
People
Yeah,
don't see them, but don't read,
yeah,
don't pay attention.
yeah. I mean, I could have some volunteers, like go downstairs, that could be an option.
Do you have any information on what it did, if anything, for the Main Street of Barre?
Main Street sees a huge uptick that weekend. Vendors, our vendors, some of them come and they stay in hotels, because I know that there's 3 women from Virgin's area, they make it a girls' weekend, and so they go to Meltdown and Cornerstone the second night, they stay here 2 nights. But our restaurants are always busy that weekend, so it was when, I'm not sure who contacted me, was it you that asked me to do it, or
Do what?
to break, when the Crafters Guild said they weren't doing it?
Oh, yeah.
So Jeff had reached out, and I knew that it was already it was a big pull for downtown Barre, just like the gun show. I mean, the restaurants and stores down the street are busy.
Could you do any sort of a survey or something that you could give us some information that says, during the craft show, that, from the merchants on Main Street, that my sales increased by 5%, 10%,
I can ask Jeff.
by us?
I sit beside Justin, the one with the quarry restaurant,
Yeah.
for all the UVM basketball games. He tells me that every event is up there, but the gun show and the craft show, record sales. They ask for extra people down there. He says, you always know when
And
something's going
the
on up here.
basketball too, as
Yeah.
well. The basketball games, those 2 weeks are busy.
I think just getting us together, it says, during these shows, from the merchants or whatever, whether it's a restaurant or a store or whatever.
I could put a form together on behalf of you and send it out to my businesses and say, if basketball, the gun show, the craft show, is there anything else that I should include in that?
There's gonna be a new one coming. 99% sure there'll be a new one here next year. The weekend before the basketball tournament. We're trying to get the state wrestling championships here.
Oh, that would be good.
That'd be fantastic.
Yeah.
But I think that's the kind of information we could have, besides hearsay, if we get something in writing. Yep. I think that would definitely benefit.
Sure, the benefits of the facility.
Bit of it's a facility and trying to have them to make the city of kind of help for.
Yeah, exactly. 100%.
Okay,
Those are probably the big shows.
those are the big ones,
The-
basketball,
if
traffic.
training comes in, do they all go out to the bars afterwards?
Well,
The what?
They have like pipe industries as their training here, and there's some big corporations that have training.
Any kind of like concert, like a mixed MMA, I don't know, if there's like people go out to the restaurants and do it.
some of them probably do.
I can,
If there was a concert, yeah, I don't know, the MMA people, they just show up because they have food here.
Okay.
yeah, I can put a survey together and send that out to the
Thank you
businesses.
for doing it, thank you for picking up the trash, that's huge, that's great to hear.
Well, I knew from talking with the businesses that it was it brought a lot of people to the community, so I couldn't imagine not doing it. And doing it based off what they had done, it's not a huge time suck. It's a lot of work that week, but, has been beneficial for the partnership as well.
How did the facilities do? Is there anything in the facilities that are concerning to you?
Well, dealing with Jeff has been hard.
Yeah, understandable.
No, I come up and they help with everything, so,
Yeah, how
And
about
then
the
they
building
have-
itself, the restrooms, the Wi-Fi,
the Wi-Fi the first
Accessibility.
year was an issue. This past year, I didn't hear any complaints about it.
So that's because of the switch we made.
Okay,
yes.
the first year, that was a big complaint. Nothing with the facility that I've heard from feedback.
If you could put a question like that in your survey, as far as the facility, you know, that might.
To my vendors.
As far as to, Jeff in particular.
A couple, 3 years ago, Rick, when Rick and I were up here for the gun show, because the Wi-Fi kept crashing on. And then it happened a couple years ago, and that's when we switched over to consolidated. Yeah, we came up, we had so many issues with Charter, Spectrum, whatever they call themselves. The last time it crashed, they came up, they had 3 guys up there in vans, and they drove around the neighborhood, we gotta check the signals around there. Came back and said, nothing wrong with it. Consolidated, come up either that day or the following day, ran a line, no more problems. So we've been consolidated since then. When Bubba was here, he said, dude, Wi-Fi was great, I had no problems. And that's the show that really needs it the most, because they gotta do all those registrations and background checks, so.
Right, that's good, so that's working fine.
Yeah.
No problems with that at all, good.
And the staff, April is usually on, the staff on Saturday and Sunday, and she's always great.
Joel,
Joel might have done a day too. Yeah, I think
Joel did the Saturday, she did the Sunday.
Sunday, yeah. They're always great to deal with. If I need something, they jump right up and do it, so staff is great.
I'd like to talk about other potential things with you, but any other questions on the graph there before we discuss? So other uses potentially for this, I'm sure you've heard Maria Turf in there.
So I've already had people reach out to me, wanting to do like fundraising, pickleball tournaments, kickball tournaments, dodgeball tournaments, so I think that was a great addition.
So pickleball will work on the turf.
But that's in here, right?
And, yeah, and we had some pickleball going before the basketball tournaments. Tournaments end this week, we'll put the temporary pickleball courts back on.
Have they been busy?
And, well, there's already interest about, so we had some groups that would come in, there was a morning group that would come in, there was an afternoon group that would come in. David Rulo, who's on the Barre Town Rec Board, is trying to set up clinics, evening clinics for, older people that, want to learn the game and come in. They did one just off the cuff, they said they picked a night, so we're gonna do a clinic, kind of put it on the recreation Facebook pages, Barre City, Barre Town, and 16 people showed up. So it's something I think it's just gonna grow over there. Yeah.
I know, like, there's a lot of indoor turf soccer leagues, that would be a great thing to bring to Barre.
Yeah, we reached out to Capital Soccer, they're gonna take some time over there. See the soccer nets came in yesterday. We've got I ordered a big net to split the space in half. That should be in the end of this week, beginning of next week. So turf's coming April
Second.
2nd, yeah. And we'll be installing it, and April 8th, place will be ready to rock and roll the turf.
Yeah, so I know Renita Marshall Helping Hands Foundation is always brainstorming for different fundraising events, and so she reached out about us doing a combined event, and she said either dodgeball or kickball tournament, I think she said
That's good.
kickball.
Watching, you get like some.
Yeah, I think like it just opens up so many more activities and bringing people here to do things, so.
Yeah, we got, there's good space over there, good space in this building, we'd love to fill it, obviously, so we're always looking for new ways to use it. I think that would tie in well with you, because you've got hands on the pulse
Mhm.
of Barre, so, excellent. Appreciate you coming by, any other questions?
Correct me if I'm wrong, didn't you attempt or thought about a beer fest or something at one time here?
Yeah, that was, it was supposed to be March of 2020, and so we put it off, and, it just hasn't, it hasn't come back to fruition, I think every time, when we first started talking about it, Rich Morey was my president, and he had worked at Calmont or somewhere, and so he had the beer knowledge, and then Justin Pecor, who's on my board, owning the quarry, the two of them were kind of the smarts behind it, because I'm not a beer drinker, I have no idea about beer, so, so I do have all the things that we could bring it back to life, the flood last year and getting behind on things last year has pushed it off. I did the Women's Health and Wellness Expo up here, and that was in September of 22. And we had decided that we wanted to put it more in the March time at the end of, in the fall when we did it, was too nice out. We thought we would get more people, women in attendance, during the winter months. So that is something I wanna, get back into working on. But, like I said, the flood last year and then this eclipse, coming, I'm working on that, and then I have a Heritage Festival, so it'll look like maybe 2025 for one or two of those events, and then also Sherry from the Vermont Beekeeping, wants to bring back the home show. And so
She's talking like a mini farm.
like, yeah, kind of like the home show, not as big, started out small and make it get bigger. So that was originally supposed to be this time of year, right?
Yep,
Um,
it was,
March of 2024.
yeah, she was doing it different, because the farm show came in January.
Yeah.
I think she was looking at after the basketball tournaments.
Yeah. And again, that with the flood and just what I was doing with the businesses, that dropped off my radar. So those are three possible events that I could bring up here and do in the future.
Is there any potential shows or whatever you want to call it in the summertime for this, or the auditorium facility that might happen, but there's always an issue, I'm just asking the questions, there's always an issue with air conditioning because we don't have it. And, we're trying to, there is a grant out there that we have supposedly available, but we have to come up with the matching money, et cetera, which would improve that facility greatly. If it had air conditioning or whatever, do you see potential, more potential, or for some events that might?
I think so. I know like, last year I had done the recycled percussion event up here. That was the concert about kindness, and we kind of based it around kindness and Barre. And it was a good show. That was the one event that I lost money on for the partnership. But I thought it was still a great show. It was warm in here, and that was April,
End of April, beginning of May.
yeah.
That was a short notice then.
Yeah, that it was. I announced it April 1st, and then I announced it
Maybe it
April
was
1st.
amazing. I think it was only like a couple of weeks that you had to put it together.
Yeah, so that was the only thing, that was the only event that I've actually lost money on, but I started out big, they were 25,000 just to get over there, so.
You know, lots of money, you haven't tried anything.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
You're right.
Way too cautious.
But yeah, I think it would be great to have more events up here, and if I can help brainstorm, or help bring anything, just let me know.
Is there some way that the partnership, like I say, there's a grant out there for whatever, $2.5 million to improve this facility, we have to come up with, what is it, $2 million or ourselves or something like that, that if the partnerships could somehow come up with I don't know, it's a letter or whatever, to support the fact that the city, needs to find a way to come up with their share of it, because it would be good for the downtown, thing.
So letter to the city.
The manager,
Yeah, so,
right?
Yeah.
yeah. Newspaper, anything that we, and we know with the flood, everything, but
Do you have like a fundraising, tool right now, like an online, anything like that? That we could push them to?
We don't, but that would be a good idea. Let's talk about something like that. We are gonna need to raise some money. The city's looking into ways to potentially raise money, grants and so forth. But it's a good opportunity for this facility, so we want to make it happen somehow.
Yeah. Well, I know with us being a 501c3, that, people use that as a good donating thing, so I don't know if we could combine that. Because you're not a 501c3.
I think we need to combine as many things as possible with a group like yours, a partnership, which, the taxpayers in the city of Barre. And, this facility with the right upgrades and so on and so forth, could, make things even a lot better, in my opinion.
Right, I agree.
So, yeah, the things we're doing over here, that's for sure. But anything that you can do to promote it, so to speak, with the partnership people. Anywhere else.
I mean, Jeff had posted last week just the boys' basketball, so I stole that picture, and then I found a picture that he had sent me last year of the court, and I just did a real quick post saying it's that time of season, boys' basketball tournament this week, and that post, which I just threw up there, got a lot of attention. The girls one, not so much this week, but I didn't see it until Tuesday, so I didn't share it Monday morning. I try to share all of my posts at 7 a.m. because that's where I find that I get the most interaction. I do notice that the auditorium doesn't have a Facebook page.
It's just the recreation department.
Okay, because like when I try tagging the auditorium, I can't even tag.
I'm not as savvy as the guy in the back there.
So it would be good if we could get like the auditorium,
I see that.
like where I could actually, tag the auditorium. Because when I'm at the craft show or things, when we post pictures, I always try to tag as many different organizations as I can, so, we were at Wilkins, Shannon was taking pictures at Wilkins, so we tag Wilkins, because that gets into their whole following, and then anybody that likes my picture, I invite them to, that's how I gain followers, so should I be tagging the Barre Recreation Department when I do?
Yeah,
Yeah, yes.
Sounds to me like this facility should have its own.
I'll work.
And I can help you with that, like, I could run it for you, I would be willing to run it for you.
And we'll talk.
You know,
I'll talk to Chris and Rick. Yeah, I'd like to see, you know, an auditorium page.
That'd be ready tomorrow morning.
probably tomorrow afternoon.
As long as it gets taken care of.
But didn't the city have a, like a Facebook or?
The city of Barre has their own page, I try to tag them in posts, but it never really allows me, so I don't know what they have for their settings.
I'd like to, you know, definitely get one set up for the auditorium because, you know, they've been playing the state basketball championships there since 1941. So,
And Shannon came up and took pictures a year or two ago, and anytime that you have something up here, reach out to me, and I will send Shannon up here. I think, I don't think she got any at the gun show, but her photos just tell a story in itself, like, since we've had her, I've said it's made my job easier, because I can post things and whatever, but her photos really do,
Yeah, we'll take the picture you had of the craft show.
Yeah.
I can see it right there.
Yeah.
So,
and it,
With 5,000 people, I'm gonna go back to the craft show,
Okay.
with 5,000 people coming through the doors, and it costs you $12 to get into the gun show, why not $1? Why do you not choose to,
because there's,
Sure.
I would rather people spend money with the vendors, we're already making a good enough amount, off the vendors, and, I'd rather see the people come in, and if they have to pay $5, it might be less, something might deter people from coming, and it might make them spend less money here. And the other craft fairs are in town that same day that don't charge fees, so, I think we're the best craft fair, we have we only have the Vermont artisans here, I could definitely charge, but I don't see the need to.
I think that's.
Good
a
answer.
good one. Sorry,
Go ahead. No, I just said, good answer.
I think that's a great philosophy. I mean, if you're happy with your committee. And so if you're happy with it, apparently you're coming out ahead on that particular.
Yeah. I try to do as much as I can that is free, the Heritage Festival, all the events that are happening, I pay for out of the fundraising. So if I can fundraise enough and get enough vendor fees, and it can be free to the community, I feel like more people, we have a lot of low-income people that still want to participate, and if I can fundraise enough and keep it cheap or free, then I would rather do that.
There's other craft fairs that are happening that same day.
Yep, so there's one at the Canadian Club, the Old Labor Hall, the Elks Club, they're up in Berlin. But people make it, they make it a day of it.
I'll say it's actually.
They come here, they go there, so they're shopping all around, and, I know some people have questioned that, and I don't, it doesn't make me upset at all, like, I think it just makes people, and when they're driving, they see, something downtown that might help them,
It's not necessarily a competition, it
No,
works
it's not.
well.
It's no
People can see the
competition.
different shows.
Yeah.
Tracks, teachers in the area that.
Yeah,
That's a
Yeah.
great way for people to see the whole thing.
Yeah, I think it's great, we don't have, at ours, it was only Vermont crafters, so, the Crafters Guild was very picky, they had only a certain amount of, pottery people and a certain amount of artists, that made pictures or whatever. I'm a little more lenient, but I also am not bringing in the Mary Kay, the Tupperware people, those are at the other craft fairs, and so, while they have their place, it's not at ours, they come for these handmade ornaments or these beautiful pieces or great food, you know.
And what Tracy's done to open it up a little more to some of these other, you know, high-end crafters. The Crafters Guild, you could not get in, you had to come here, in the spring and in the fall, before they'd have the show, they had jewelry sessions, they rent this room and tables set up, and if, like, Art had something he wanted to sell, he had to bring it up here, set it up on his table, and they juried it and decided whether or not it was worthy of their show.
Yeah, you have
But then they complained.
Art, and by the way, Art never made
But
it.
then they complained that they didn't have enough vendors or there weren't any crafters, and I have not found that whatsoever. And none of the people that are shopping have complained like, oh, the crafters aren't as good as they were before. The only thing I've heard is they miss the fudge guy, but he is 80, 90 years old, he's not making it anymore. So, you know, like, I try to find different people. I think, you know, in my role as the partnership and having the Heritage Festival and the Farmers Market and food truck, if I see someone, I invite them to the craft fair, you know, if I think that they would do really good. And, I even, this past year, I think there were 5, teenage crafters, and they all did great, like, they're just starting out. I had worked with Grace Barre, back in 2019, I think, and she was this little sophomore in high school and making these little crochet things, and I don't even know what they were. And she asked if she could come to the farmer's market, and I let her come to that farmer's market for free that whole summer, and she was this shy little girl. And the last 2 years at the craft fair, she's got 2 huge tables, and just walking by and seeing how she has grown, and.
She's one of the ones the first year that ran out and had to go home that night and make more things.
Yeah. And so now she's got, you know, she's in college now, and my girls and I own Emsley's, and so Grace has her own little corner of stuff in our shop, so, you know, and she's selling all around the world, from her TikTok page.
Nice.
If you had 100, you went from 79 to 113, or how many more can you put in? If you?
I think, what did I say? So based on the new, it's 116 is the total. We had 119 signed up. So, and then a few didn't show up, I think a few had.
That's about 35 more.
So, you know, if everybody comes and, you know, that signs up, of course they pay. So if they don't show up, it's non-refundable. But we could have potentially 116 in there, and that's with none in the hallway. I had a couple out in the hallway this past year, and if people come down these stairs, they don't go out into this hallway, and I just would rather have everybody in the main rooms.
Do you charge by the table, the space, or just curious?
It's, so the 8x8s, booths have been at $200 for their spot, and the 10x10s were $300 a spot. Doing away with the 10x8s, those were at $250. So this year I've gone up to, $250 for the 8x8s and $350 for the 10x10s.
And you have no problem selling those.
I had one person push back at me.
How's that compared to the gun show? Just curious.
Doesn't charge by his booth space, he charges per table.
How much do they charge
He
you?
doesn't tell us it's per table. I'm thinking it's $100, $50 to $100 for a table. And that's why they first complained that we were getting $20 a booth.
Right, yeah.
Now, one booth, so let's say it's Black Dog that used to have, he has Carol's old spot, 18 tables. So if he's paying, even if he's paying $10 a table, or $100, he's paying. We're only taking $20 from the whole thing.
I had a guy tell me years ago that he goes to gun shows all over the Northeast or whatever, and when we were talking about charging whatever, $20 a table or something, that's chicken for you. I go elsewhere and it's 200, 300, 500, I mean,
For a table.
yeah, I mean, it's just, anyways, that's,
Agreed.
yeah.
Okay, any other questions for Tracy?
Could I add just one comment about partnership? I'd like to encourage partnerships. They take care of the trees on Main Street in front of their particular stores, you know. I know the city, when the weeds get a table high here or something, then they try to do something about it. But I really think that's a reflection on the city and their business or whatever, to go out there and either pull the weeds or whatever. And I apparently had people last year planting flowers, was it after the flood, I think, or something?
Yeah, that was the Grand City Garden Club.
Oh, okay. I
They
mean,
got some, I gave them a bunch of leftover geraniums from the cemetery plantings, but then they got some other plants from the Burlington Garden Club and asked me, where can we put them? I said, if you don't mind weeding out the trees across from there, have at it. So we did.
I mean, that.
And I can work with-
900% better,
Right,
you know, take care of the trees and the little square around it. or
I know, I would really, I know Stone and Browning, we went down,
Yeah.
a couple years, maybe not last year, the year before, and weed whacked. Yeah, because we do the flowers in the downtown for the summer, and those were all, swept away in the flood, so the garden club brought down 30 or 40 pots and replaced them and did that, but yes, I agree,
I think that tree in that spot is a reflection on the business that's behind it. Just like on
Okay.
I remember the days when the store owners used to go out, sweep the sidewalks and shovel them in the winter.
Of course, they shoveled it into the gutter.
Yeah.
Old days, old way to do it. Well, Tracy, we appreciate you coming. Thanks for everything you do for the city and for the facility here. Appreciate you coming. You're welcome anytime. An invitation if you ever anything you want to talk to us.
I'd encourage you to come anytime you can, just to give us updates or whatever, or suggestions.
We're aligned in many ways. in terms of
For sure, and
facility.
Jeff, let me know, I can run that page for you or help you run it.
Right, thanks. This is always Tracy.
Thank you, Tracy. Okay. So that was excellent. Next item up is the Civic Center financial review. I don't think you're able to get.
No, Ron's tied up with, still on flood stuff, budget stuff.
This is, we're all. Just in terms of like, I think what we're looking for, I think it would be important for us to be able to kind of, how much revenue, how much expenditures, what kind of, I think there's some people in the city that look at this as a major drain on the city. And I think it's not that. But it'd be nice to know what the BOR kind of takes in.
Yeah, so that's what I'm asking for, is the this fiscal year, which will end in June. But where we are year to date with revenue and
Facility
expenses.
is not a standalone facility by any means, but we do bring in a significant amount of money for the city. Is there anything else anyone wants to see or think that we should focus on in terms of the finances of this facility?
Well, I mean, our budget too,
The Civic Center Fund? Or,
yeah, the Civic Center budget.
Yeah.
You presented something, I assume, back in November or December or to the manager.
Well, with the-
flood problems, you probably cut it in half or whatever, but, just to, see what we've taken in and what the budget is, I guess, some sort of a balance sheet or whatever,
For the general fund or just for the civic center?
Say that again?
For the general fund in whole or just the civic center fund?
I think interesting is the civic center's, revenue and expenses. We've been through this drill that the auditorium gets charged for all the employees or whatever, that mow grass in the summertime and stuff like that. In the past, you estimated that whatever, 50% of their time.
Yeah, that's basically,
best guess is going to mow grass or whatever, so that, trying to, I think what Charlie was saying is to show the public that, we're not as big a drain as they might think we are. And we are a drain, or whatever it is.
We should know better.
Yeah, I mean, I can remember the days when we were always told, it's $125,000 deficit to operate the auditorium year after year after year. And when we started asking, well, what are the guys doing in the summertime instead of doing stuff over here, we're mowing grass? If we didn't have them for the auditorium, then we wouldn't have them on the grass. No, that should be part of the general fund or whatever.
You're talking about the budget for up here, though.
Yeah.
Overall, you want to see the.
Yeah, just the civic center, okay, taking out,
The
the
grass.
guys are mowing grass. I mean, you could put a note in there that, this amount of revenue or expense of we'll just say $50,000, but, for personnel, 25,000 of this mowing grass or whatever figure that, your best guess, whatever anyone.
I think you guys combine a lot of expenditures, so we'll be a little difficult to break it out, but I think it'd be good for us to have a little better idea of what it looks like up here.
Yeah, I mean, and the
Gotta start
budget,
somewhere.
the budget vote for the city is gonna be when now?
May 16th.
Okay.
15th, 14th, second Tuesday in May.
I mean, could we have that for the next, the April meeting, I guess?
I think she can, but I'll confirm.
And it doesn't have to be to the penny or the nickel or.
We had this, for a period of time, pre-COVID, because I think I finally pitched it, but I had a file where we had years with that, I forget, it was maybe 10 years ago, we finally started getting this breakdown, you see the wire, all the halls, here, and what the expenditures, and that's what we're working on.
Yeah, just,
We had that pre-COVID, then COVID.
yeah, pre-COVID and pre-flood and that sort of thing, and I understand why during those times, things, couldn't happen as much as we would like. If we had it in April, if somebody asks us a question about the May vote, we could talk a little bit more intelligently.
You concerned about the budget for this facility that's gonna be coming out?
No. No, because this one is, I think the council's gonna approve what we put together. We had like 2 congresses. So we had all the departments together right here. And we critiqued each other's budgets and picked and chose, and I think we came out with a reasonable budget. And I think if we were to present it to the voters yesterday, they would have passed it.
Yeah.
We won't know
Money is
until
tight.
May.
I know that.
Then there was unknowns that came up between then and now with the July flood.
Mhm.
We found out yesterday the state's giving the city $1 million towards flood relief. We were hoping for more because it's closer to 1.4, 1.5.
Right.
But you take what you can get.
Yeah, better take it.
Take it and run.
Yeah.
You take some more, right?
You do.
A little bit more, I think, but.
Yeah, I know various cities, it's just tough budgets right now, there's a lot of money going out.
School budget results last night.
Passed by 2 votes in the city and got blown away in the town.
2 votes.
The information that's going around, I mean, basically the legislature was saying, vote it down so that we can straighten it out. I don't think they can, but that's something point now.
One question I had, sort of related, it was great having her in. That was great to hear that, especially on the crowd. Absolutely. That's actually, sounded like 5,000. Not at all, maybe I should be, but, I would like to get, we talked about the past athletic director. We haven't had an athletic director talk to us in a while. Last time it was, we had Marion come in, and we had an alley king once. She was there, but I think it'd be good to, because they're pretty big renters.
That's huge. That's actually something I want to talk about today is in terms of visitors, I think we should try to have someone pretty much every month, just, athletic director. Is a good idea. Anyone else that people could think, I mean, possibly Black Bear, the hockey group.
Yeah, that'd be a good one. That's their second biggest ice, well, they are the biggest ice rink.
Historically, we've had them, and we always played figure skating too, just because there's more.
So you're together?
Yeah, usually, we used to have them at the same time, talk separately, but they're both renting, and sometimes there was issues, I don't know if there's still issues with figure skating, and hockey, or.
And from what I saw, my granddaughter's in figure skating, the programs, you got a few kids in it.
Yeah.
It looks like it's growing.
Good.
Excellent.
How about BYSA soccer? Sounds like we're about to get this indoor soccer field. Yep, BYSA is a good one. We had their whole kind of board in here.
Yeah. But you have been,
Not bad, it's not sexy.
they have been the fall problems, after we passed the time to turf.
Yep.
The irony is now, I heard, by the way, I heard, because my kids are in seventh, eighth grade, so I've heard more people talk about this turf. I mean, it's unbelievable.
I want the mayor,
But the irony is that it's,
I want the mayor.
but the irony is that the fields are.
Let's wait, we'll have to wait till after May, to
Oh,
have a mayor.
Oh, yeah, the mayor come here.
Well, then they're not running for
He's not running, so, and that won't be, the new one won't be going until May, so.
Well, I didn't say it had to be next month or something, like summer or
Yeah, we could have a nice farewell party.
whatever.
fair.
Right now, the only announced candidate is Sam Stockwell. She's a city councilor for Ward 3.
There'll be more. Sure. Well, I like the city council. You know, they're the ones that have the reservations about the place, so maybe we should give the reservations.
So we invited them not to a meeting,
Tours.
we had them to come up and walk through with us.
Mhm.
And every time you do it, you get the same one or two that show up. A lot of the new ones that never come. So,
Nice, thanks for the interest, city council.
Yeah.
Also, I mean, I would suggest that you invite the mayor and anybody else that comes and wants to come with them. The mayor would be the, whoever that may be, I would think,
Once they have the election.
yeah, right, yeah, it doesn't have to be, I'm just, I think you were looking for one a month, so that's why I'm.
Oh, yeah, no, yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
USA would be out there, once we get the turf running, the mayor, the city council.
Yeah, I was pretty disappointed when we had the North presentation.
Yes.
The energy meeting, pretty much.
Yes.
The city.
Yeah, that was very, very
Because
good.
that was a great thing.
Just to show support and also to show thanks for Norwich.
Yeah,
It was significant. Okay, so we got athletic director, hockey, figure skating, BYSA, eventually mayor, eventually anyone else that people like to talk to? Yeah. Yes.
I think we're gonna let Andrew come in at some point to have a conversation again about the grant.
Yeah.
You know, the earmark. I mean, I think that's, yes, I mean, that's the one thing that keeps on, at some point, we're gonna run out of time. I don't know what it's
Well,
gonna
you
be.
know what, I'm gonna put it down as manager and finance director, Dawn.
For next,
She's the assistant city manager.
for next meeting,
Could ask for the next one.
next one would be great if we get the financials and Don could come in.
Yep.
But the earmark thing is, to me, is the
Yeah, that's a big,
number one thing for us, right? I mean, push, I mean,
Oh,
it's
when's that thing?
last 15, 20 years, this checklist and everything we've been talking about, like, brand, so we have to money out there to accomplish so many things. And
Right, and now it's,
the way.
it's only March, I understand, but that needs to be ready for September. We have to have our commitment for our match by September. Because they gave us a year because of the flood.
Okay, that's the latest,
That's not.
No information to me.
It's 6 months
Yeah.
away.
so having this little financial report of yours, if we're gonna have the Dawn and manager here next month, to have that financial report also at the same time or even ahead of time. Yeah, I mean, whether they agree with whatever you put down there, or whatever, it would be interesting to have that information in front of us when they're processing finance.
There's probably gonna be a little bit of fight over this earmark monies, I would think, too, in the city council, so we need to leave time to have that, and get that through.
Not a lot of money.
Especially with government ones. Okay, so, will you invite them, Jeff, or you want me to? I'll leave that in your court. Jeff, you can write that. Okay, well, that's excellent. Next item up was the earmark funds, but I think there's really not much to report on that one until next meeting. That will be important. Jim is not here, so Jeff?
He's on vacation, though, isn't he?
He's gone for 5 weeks.
No.
Then you get to Florida, right?
So. All right, so my report, basically, you know, we had a good week last week with boys basketball over there. And I was up here Monday night, I thought it was decent crowds for the first night of girls. We'll see how it looks tonight. It's West Rutland and Arlington in the first game, and Memorial's playing somebody in the second game, so that's probably the closest team we've got to this area is Memorial. Other than that, ice is out. Well, they're almost done pulling it out, and they'll be cleaning the floor, getting everything ready. It looks like we may have some lacrosse use in there before we get the turf down. Ben sent an email looking for earlier time, so he may be in there the next week or so, just to get a few practices in. Turf gets here, that'll be our priority, get the turf laid down.
When's the council?
Car show is March 29th and 30th. And then, the second is when the turf arrives.
Yeah, it was gonna be on the first, but.
Yeah, we won't set it at the second.
What shows the 28th and 21?
Northeast Motorsports Expo.
Oh, okay.
This is at Justin St. Louis, used to write for the Times Argus. He's a big race car guy. He's been working on this for a few months now, and he's got all his vendor spots sold. The race cars coming, representatives of different racetracks around, not just New Hampshire, Maine. I think it's gonna be something that's gonna come back every year.
I think they're gonna draw really well.
There's gonna be a lot of people here.
Is that gonna be just in the VOR?
VOR probably will spill out to the outside.
Yeah.
They advertise it?
He's advertising, I don't know, I haven't really seen.
DEV's pumping it pretty good. By the way, just so that you know, Greg Titus, who we all know, assistant coach for Harvard, unfortunately lost, but he's on WDEV back on there, and Saturday morning,
On Trading Post,
and to go to the dump
Yeah.
and all of that,
is he talking it up?
he said so many, I wish I had the recording of it, because he really did a nice job talking about the auditorium, I'll tell you
And I
that.
think that I sent all you guys the
Yeah, they
little
did.
thing from
Aaron
Harris's interview.
Yeah.
with Eric Hill.
Yeah, well, he did a really nice job.
Yeah, that's nice to hear.
Whoever else has come to the area there, we listen to music to go to the dump by? They shake their
Every
heads.
Saturday morning.
Yeah.
Usually, I would make it halfway through, the music goes, don't mind, but I like the Trading Post, listen to the people talk. My only other thing I gotta report is that this could quite possibly be my last meeting here. I am getting done this year, and it's just a matter of when. It could be as early as the end of this month, or, well, basically it will be, because I've been offered a little incentive to take my retirement, and my last day would be, physical day working would be March 31st. And officially, I'd be on paid leave, and I'd be done at the end of June. And as far as I know, there is no plan to replace me, so.
That leaves a pretty good void.
No plan to replace it.
They hadn't told one. So I was planning on, in the next year or so, I'll be 68 in April, so it's kind of
It's too early to retire.
I'm not Art Desville.
Youngster.
So, yeah, I'm leading, I've signed a letter of intent, which gives me I have a few more days to decide for sure, but I'm certainly leaning that way, so I'll let you guys know.
Wow.
So when you say they have no plan, do you think that they're
That's
being
right.
out there in the
So-
wind, or?
The reason Rick's sitting back there is because he's afraid you're gonna dump it on him.
Welcome to our meetings, Rick.
You just run over and sit down.
I mean, I would think they should be advertising it or something.
Is it a cost saving move? I mean, they don't want to replace the position.
Right now, we're still in the hiring freeze.
On a hiring freeze. And I think it's kind of a, looking at the 25 budget, where they can save money.
You must be pretty stressed out.
Yeah.
So tonight I had a chance to meet you. Show up.
And I'll tell you, it's unfair that Rick's got, he's human resources, he helps Chris with IT, he jumps in anywhere somebody needs him. It'd be unfair to dump it on him, but
Well, congrats on your retirement.
thanks.
Yeah, that's such a shocker. 68? I didn't know you were turning 68, wow. Congratulations.
Well, I look 48.
Yeah.
Wow, John, you're being really nice.
That's all right, he'll be calling me names on July 1st, when he gets his favorite message from me.
All good, yeah, Jay.
Happy Bobby Bonilla Day.
Well, we went how many years without a police chief or fire chief, I should say. Yeah. Yeah, it's something to be.
But that's okay.
That's a big one too.
You ever say something, I mean,
Yeah, Jess, it's a huge one.
yeah, that's hard, yeah, well, it's
I think about that one. There's, obviously there's a lot going on right now. So I wish you well, but there's a lot going on here that is, important to take care of. So we can't, there's certain things that we can't let slip through the cracks because you're not here.
make sure we get invited to the retirement party.
Maybe one out of West Danville.
Wow.
Okay, well, a couple of things that I had, just, the turf. They sent something out that it takes quite a crew to install that.
Yeah.
Do we have quite a crew, or they're not bringing out a
So I
bunch
got,
of people?
I got the 6 people that work at your facilities.
Okay.
Um,
They were saying a team of 8 or something like that, and I think that they're only probably coming with one,
I think they're going to 2.
but, I think.
Didn't BYS say?
They said they would, yeah. You get the retired guys like, Nick Karen, Bernie Allen.
Yeah, I'll be there, I'm looking forward to it.
Bernie spends more time up here than Jim does.
So what's their plan on storage?
I was just gonna say, there's your advice right there.
So what's their plan on storage of that stuff?
I'm waiting to hear back from Belvin, so I'm working with them. But they pass me so many freaking people. So I called down there. I probably sent you an email or a message, if you could talk to Ryan, is that the one?
Yeah.
Who's it?
Right.
Because I called down there, and they sent me to some Tom, and then, or Scott. And then he emailed me back and said, no, don't talk to me, you have to talk to Ryan. Then somebody else said, call Dan down at the Line Street place. And
I don't know Ryan, I know Roland.
His wife Chrissy works there too.
is Roland still working? Because I know Roland.
He's a school, he's a.
Yeah. Too bad. Okay, so we still need to secure that.
Yeah.
You get the divider net done.
Wire net's on its way.
The
It should be-
sweeper, we're using the sweeper that we have,
What's that?
the sweeper.
We're gonna try that one that we have. The one that, the turf people wanted us to buy was almost $9,000.
Right. Okay, well, hopefully the one we have works.
Yeah, we'll give that a whirl. I mean, it works well on this carpet. We're hoping it'll work well on the high carpet. If not, I could probably get a better deal through, Swish Penco.
Yep.
Then go into next people there.
Can you use a shop vac? No,
I don't know, maybe.
joking, that'd be a lot of fun.
I wouldn't mind putting Clark out there all day with a vacuum.
Yeah, I wouldn't take
There goes our
it.
budget.
It'd take him too long.
Okay, any other questions for Jeff? Okay, so last thing I kind of want to talk about is, thanks for coming again, Josh. Sorry, no problems. I did try to look at they have like the new regulations of how to get someone appointed. And it did sign that, once the position is available, you can apply for it, or whatever it was, any time. I don't think I sent those to you, I sent them to the group here, I'll send that to you. So, we have a nice spot we need to fill. I'll send that to you. It sounds to me like you have to apply to the city. We don't really have much say, I don't think, in here. They might ask us. So I'll send that to you, and then I would send a message and talk about that message to the city manager. And then not to say anyone else, if they apply, there's a good chance that they'll be accepted, I would assume. So if anyone that was interested in it, that, you're holding out because last year we were in the spring or whatever, they should apply now as well. So,
Is there anyone that's due for reappointment?
yes.
Okay, we should try to do them all at the same time.
Yeah.
What do we do, that's June?
Right, but and maybe you can help me on that one. It seemed like, those are on a rigid day, rigid date. It sounds like once the position's open, you can apply at
Yeah.
any point.
Filling a seat, then once that seat's up.
Right, you have to reapply for it, but if we have an open seat that's been posted and we have someone apply, will they immediately review him and accept him, or are they gonna wait all for that one?
No, they would, the city manager will review it, and he should bring it to council the council may want to meet you, like have you come in, just so they can ask you questions, like why you want to be on it. But then they can appoint you anytime. You don't have to wait, if there's an open spot. The only time you'd have to wait is if you were if somebody wasn't gonna move off, and then you'd have to wait until the appointments come up. But if there's an open spot, we just filled one on the 88, or the diversity and equity committee.
And I think we opened our number of available positions. So we have one that's been approved that is vacant right now, which is the difference from last time, so you can apply at any point.
Yeah, just give me the paperwork. If you go to the city website under committees, I think the first drop down under committees is volunteer.
Okay.
You click on that, there's an online application, and that goes right to the manager's office.
All right, I'll pull that up there. Okay, anyone got anything else to discuss?
Can we have an executive session?
Yeah, we can certainly have an executive session. We got a call for it, the regulations better than I did last time, you just need to walk through. I think we need to.
You gotta call, you gotta request a second session, you gotta say, there's public disclosure of, say what's about personnel contract or something. And personnel and public disclosure of said meeting.
So we need to make a motion to open an executive session in regards to personnel.
Yep.
Okay, you make the motion?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, you can shut that down. Just go ahead, just mouse over it and hit end meeting.
Does Josh have to leave or?
Yeah.
Yeah, usually if you're gonna add somebody, like if you wanted Jeff to be in it, other than people, like maybe you would say to include Jeff or something.
Where am I going?
Down the bottom right where it says end.
You can stay, Jeff.
Well, we gotta invite him, we gotta
Make a motion to
invite
invite
him, motion to